Hello there. Welcome to the Double Indemnity podcast. I'm your host, Toby Clegg, alongside my co-host, the legendary Stuart Reid. And today we are thrilled to be joined by Matthew Hill, the CEO of the Chartered Insurance Institute. Welcome, Matthew.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
I have paid my dues this year, incidentally.
Very good.
Which is good.
Thank
so
you for your service.
I know. I thought I'd get that out there quickly before, and did my CPD.
Let's get this out of the way. There is a rumour that you were one of the youngest FCII qualified.
I got told this, but I don't know, because it was always a
Matthew's
thing.
going to check it, right?
I think Matthew should check this, because my
need to
dad...
But validate, I think, rather than check. Because we trust what you say, of course.
I don't trust it, because I got told. So. But it was my dad got the ACI at 21, and he was very young, or 20. No, he had to wait till his 21st birthday to get the certificate.
Wow.
But then he took forever to get the FCI, whereas I got the ACI later, because I was in the Navy, and then...
This is not supposed to be about you. Let's move on.
I know, but since you raised it, there we go.
Matthew, thank you so much for coming today.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we were talking just before we start officially filming. You've been at the CII now
Just over 2 years.
Yeah,
April 24 I joined. And it feels like at the same time, the blink of an eye, and as if I've been there my whole life.
Because this is insurance. The CII insurance was something new for you 2 years ago. You came from outside. A legal background, was it?
Well, not a legal background. So I guess if you would ask me to describe my career very briefly, I was a civil servant for 20 years, and I was a regulator for about 12 years, with a bit of overlap between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And during that period, particularly as a regulator in quite a wide range of sectors, as it happens, I worked very closely with a range of professions and professional bodies, and I formed this very clear idea, or belief, if you like, that professions have this really important role to play in society, and that well-led and well-organised, it can be a great force for good. And when the opportunity came up at the CII, it was just too good to not throw my hat in the ring, to test some of those theories. And I've spent a lot of time in my career across the table from professions as a regulator, and saying, the more you do, the less I can do, and sort of being serially disappointed, if you like. So just trying to put some of that into action at the CII, and really helping build insurance and personal finance, because let's not forget we support that profession too, but build that up as a real sort of force for good in society, and a sensible, rational voice in the national conversation about regulation and policy and all of that stuff. I find as you can probably tell, I find quite motivating.
Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting with the CII, because you represent the professional qualification of one of the UK's largest industries, especially in the financial services. It's after banking, sadly, but there we go. But certainly it's obviously from a global perspective as well. It must be a pinch me moment sometimes when you look at the sheer spread and the broad array of professional qualifications that you provide, and how far they go globally, because there is no other equivalent to the CII globally, is there?
Certainly not one that is viewed so consistently as representing quality and standards and rigour. And one of the many great privileges of my job is that I do get to travel the world and meet members and learners in lots of different countries. And the one thing that sort of unites them is the really high regard in which the CII is held. I was in Azerbaijan, of all places, the week before last. And I met a whole bunch of CII members and learners, so proud of what they've achieved, and some youngsters, try not to be too patronising, but some younger people who are doing their cert and their dip and really excited about it, and they all wanted their photo taken with me, not because I'm special, but because the CII is special. And I also met an FCII who had been working in the sector in Azerbaijan for decades. And it's so inspiring. I go there and I come away always energized and motivated by the pride that I see, the enthusiasm that I see, the excitement that I see. And I could tell you the same story about UAE, about Saudi Arabia, about Hong Kong, about China, about, any number of countries around the world. And, I'll tell you, I was in Hong Kong in March, and somebody said to me, and I won't say who it was, thank goodness the CII has maintained its standards because so many others are dropping theirs.
Have not.
Yeah.
Give me some kind of idea of the scale, therefore, of the CII. So there's two parts. There's the broking and there's the personal finance or whatever. That's bigger than broking, is it? How does it work?
No. So across the CII group, well, let me take a big step back. So the CII is a group.
Yeah.
And we have the CII proper, the institute. We have the Personal Finance Society, which is the professional body for personal finance. We have a number of other entities in the group, CII Middle East, CII Hong Kong, but they're really in support of the two main entities, the PFS and the CII. Now, across the group, we have about 125,000 members, and it breaks down as about 2/3 insurance and 1/3 personal finance.
Interesting. Okay, I thought it was the other way around. Actually.
No.
Okay.
So insurance is the bigger.
Yeah.
And
Noisier, I bet. Noisier, I bet.
Well, I mean, but part of the recent history of the CII has been about trying to build the relationship between the two parts of the constituency that we serve. And so when I think about noise, if you want to ask that kind of question, I think there's been a lot of passion on both sides. Mm-hmm. And in some ways, a lot of that passion has come from the Personal Finance Society part of the group, because there's been some very vocal and energetic members who just wanted to see the relationship either improve or change. And I'm really delighted to be able to say that over the course of the last year, we've seen a transformation in the relationship between the two entities. And I'm lucky enough to be able to look back on a career that is full of things that I'm really proud of, but there is very little that I'm more proud of than seeing the restoration of a really healthy, exciting relationship between our personal finance members and our general insurance members. I mean, it really is a joy.
Yes, you came in at choppy water time, didn't you?
Choppy water time, but that's what I was appointed for. Mm. I've done lots of things in my career that have been hard and challenging, but as I said to people, anything that's worth doing is going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. Otherwise, it would have been done. So, I don't shy away from that. What I can tell you is it's been so worthwhile. We held our annual network conference for CII volunteers just last month. It's the third one that I've attended. And the transformation in the atmosphere. I mean, there's so much positivity now about being a CII volunteer. And we've started to see some of our local institutes around the country rename themselves the Local Institute of Insurance and Personal Finance, which I think is just a fantastic development.
Yeah. And what about membership? Is membership remain stable? Has it been up and down?
So it's a slightly more complicated story than that. So on general insurance, it is stable in the UK, but it is growing outside the UK. And that's good, because that's our strategy. That's what we'd like to do. I am very passionate about what I describe as building the CII family across the world, because I think that gives the CII a stronger voice, but more importantly, gives the insurance profession a stronger voice. I'm proud to be able to say we're 125,000 members across the world. I'd love to be able to say we're 200,000 or 250,000, because it just makes us more credible, more authoritative, and better able to influence those policy decisions in lots of different jurisdictions. So GI, roughly stable growing a little bit, but roughly stable. Overseas, growing pretty fast.
All right.
So, can I ask a question? How do we create greater resonance with, and I'm going to use the word youngsters, because invariably, the start of their insurance journey, we've our practical way of doing it at work, and I'm proud signatory of the Destination Insurance Campaign and other bits that we've done over time, is to get people in quite young, and actually to say to them, this is the best chance before you have kids, marriage, everything else gets in the way. Get your exams done now. And certainly it was something my father's told me to do, and we're very, very keen on doing. But it's not always the easiest because, dare I say, it's quite dry. So the CII, and this is not a criticism, it's more, I guess, from a marketing feedback, how do we make it more exciting? Because even the journal and other things, it's seen as a relatively dry publication. I guess it has to be because it's CPD-centric and it's professionalism.
I don't think it's dry.
It can have its moments of being a bit dry. Put it this way, I suppose if you had a choice between reading certain magazines and the CII journal, what would you take on the plane? So how do we just, is there a conversation internally to say, let's really try and engage with the youngsters? That can sound quite ageist, admittedly, but I think that is the route to getting people, we want to get them through the exams.
You want to get them young.
I think that's fair, isn't it? I think we should be perhaps potentially a bit ageist about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. Just before I start an answer, I want to get one thing out of the way, which is that I actually think insurance is a great career choice for career changes as well, actually. So,
yeah,
and,
fair
and
point.
we're actually doing,
true.
Yep, that's
doing
very true.
quite a lot of work on that at the moment. And you can think about sort of, I mean, your ex-forces, for example.
Yeah.
So, but thinking about young people, I'll take a big step back. So as we've discussed, you know, insurance wasn't my background. I felt very warmly welcomed, by the way. It's been a very easy sector to fall in love with. Let me tell you that. So I'm not from insurance, and I think that has enabled me to form a view of somebody who's come from the outside. And I've worked with lots of different professions, you know, lawyers and healthcare professionals, a whole bunch of people. And there are many things that different professions have in common. You know, they subscribe to a set of values, and it's put the client first or put the patient first or whoever it is. There's a sort of selflessness and an ability that comes from being part of a profession that you know, we all share as being part of the insurance profession.
Sure.
But there are some differences. There are some idiosyncrasies. So every profession, I would say, has its personality. And I'm going to stick my neck out here and I'm going to say that...
You are filming, right?
One of the defining elements of insurance's personality is a sort of modesty to a fault. Yeah? And I say
false
that...
modesty.
Well, no, it's not false modesty. I think it is a very attractive characteristic. It's this modesty. It is very rooted in people and colleagues and peers getting on to make business work. And I think that is wonderful. But I think one of the side effects is that insurance is very bad at talking about itself in exciting terms.
Because we disparage ourselves potentially.
Yeah,
that's effectively.
Why would you talk to me? All I do is insurance, or it's all a bit dry.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
And actually, nothing could be further from the truth.
True.
And let me put it in. I'll try and do it in several different levels. I mean, fundamentally, and this was a light bulb moment for me when I was starting my insurance journey, and I was given some time by a senior insurance CEO, and he said to me, you know, Matthew, insurance is a very socialist thing, because it's not like people imagine that you're just buying your car insurance and it's this bilateral transaction. Actually, insurance is the thing that connects us to our neighbours, so that they can help us if something bad happens to us, and in return we can help them if something bad happens to them. And I thought that was a beautiful way of expressing insurance. And I'm, you know, in my 50s, I'm reasonably well educated, I've had a professional career, and it was the first time I'd really thought about it in those terms. And if it's the first time I've really thought about it in those terms, you can bet your bottom dollar that for most people, they would say the same thing. Yeah. So how do we find a narrative that really generates a light bulb moment for people? So that's level number one. What is the fundamental essence of insurance? It performs this amazing role in society. It underpins prosperity and growth. It enables businesses to start. You know, the list is endless. Yeah, it's this fundamental role in society. So that's thing number one. Thing number two then is, how do you describe what a career in insurance is actually like to young people? Because if you just use the word insurance, it's going to conjure up one image.
But risk is a better word, arguably.
Well, I mean, I have this debate with people all the time. Should you call it risk or insurance? Actually, I mean, insurance is the word, and it's always going to be the word.
Yep.
And the question is, how then do you describe what a career is like in insurance? And I think for a lot of people, it's still stuck in ideas perhaps of the past, which is, the door-to-door insurance salesman.
Absolutely.
Quill pen. Yeah.
Exactly right. When in fact it's an incredibly dynamic, diverse, rich spread of experiences that go to make up a career in insurance, that gives young people incredible agency about how they carve and design their career for themselves.
And also, sorry to Matthew, there's another point there which is actually quite interesting. We are number 2, I believe. I think this is an actual stat. We're number 2 in terms of the well-paid. Like that is banking, finance, and then it's insurance.
I have not even got there yet.
I was about to say, do we go in the greed factor with
Yeah. You've got to remember, I'm the CEO of the professional body, so I'm thinking about all the noble stuff, not the filthy lucre. But the filthy lucre,
which is up to us.
But the filthy lucre is very important because I see no inconsistency with being a great professional and being commercially very successful.
Absolutely.
So you've got the social purpose, you've got the incredible richness of the careers that are on offer. You've got the fact that these careers can be very rewarding financially, which is very important. And the final dimension for me that ought to be a great sort of attractive factor for any young person is that, even in this age of technological change, insurance is still a people business.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And that I don't see that changing.
No.
And I can't go anywhere these days. I'm having a conversation about AI and what will that mean. Well, actually, I look around at all the insurance professionals I know, brokers, underwriters, claims people, the tech people, the lawyers, everybody involved, and they've got one thing in common, which is that they love the relationships that they've built, and they last a lifetime.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's not just the relationships with the clients, which are extremely important, but it's between the brokers or the insurers.
Absolutely, and I've tried to work out why that's so important in insurance, because you see it in other professions as well, but it's not. I think insurance is the pinnacle of this. Okay, and I think it's because there is so much uncertainty that insurance professionals are dealing with every day. That actually having that network of people you trust. That can help triangulate how you think about a new risk.
Yeah.
It forges strong relationships. Doesn't it?
Exactly. And you might work for very different companies who are head-to-head competitors. But that underlying relationship is still there and still strong. And I think that is, without getting all misty-eyed about it, I think that's a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And ought to be a great draw for young people. But we've got to find ways to get this down on a piece of paper and start talking about it. Yeah. And I think we do. You mentioned, Toby, about changing the language from insurance to risk. I personally don't think that's the answer, but I do think there are some elements of our language that we could change. So yes. I hear, we use the word industry quite a lot. You won't find accountants talking about the accountancy industry. Mm-hmm. They will talk about the profession. They'll talk about the sector. They'll talk about their business. Yeah. Why do we call insurance an industry? And I don't know what the answer is.
Because insurance is actually the byproduct of it. The biggest problem with insurance is the salience of it. The salience only emerges as the result of, my roof's come off my house. I hope someone's actually going to pay that claim. It's very salient at that moment. Yeah. But actually, in a way, something I'm writing about at the moment is salience complex, where competency kind of salience, where we're actually almost, it sounds too good at what we do because there's no rough edges because of regulation and obviously the excellent work of the exams we undertake and things. We create kind of smoothness for the customer, so commoditisation is enabled, so that actually they can go and replace insurance quite easily, and their claim is 99% of the time paid. So absolutely. In a way, we become a bit of a victim of our own success. We're seen as boring. But that's probably a good thing in some respects.
Absolutely. Given that one of the primary functions of insurance is to smooth the peaks and troughs of life, actually, I can see a lot of weight in that argument. But sometimes we play to the assumptions a little bit. So let me give you an example. You've talked, Toby, twice in the last minute about paying claims. Yeah. And I see so many efforts to measure and describe the value of insurance in terms of claims paid. And I keep asking the question, actually, surely the claim being paid, that's when everything's gone wrong.
Yeah.
What about the value of all the businesses that have been able to start because of insurance? They may never make a claim.
Absolutely.
In their entire history. Who's capturing that?
And also general enablement, Matthew. I mean, this is the thing is, I've always said this is an odd thing to say, but anything non-natural at some point has been insured. From this glass, from the silicon, from the factory to the extraction, to the movement, to there's been 100 different policies and reinsurance policies probably covering the same thing, and they didn't know it, but even the movement, and then it becomes an asset, it's insured again. So it is an amazingly ubiquitous kind of like product for the world economy. And I suppose that is the challenge. We've always spoken about it, everyone's spoken about it, is how to get ourselves more loved as an industry. Perhaps we're never going to be loved.
Well,
but
just reflect on what you've been saying. I mean, you know, we've gone from insurance is a bit dry to your words in the last 2 or 3 minutes have articulated this incredible sort of richness and passion about what we do. Now, we've got to find a way of bottling that and getting it in front of young people.
And we're going to have to do that next time because we've run out of time.
All right. Well,
that went remarkably quickly, didn't it?
Quickly.
Hugely enjoyable conversation.
I think there's much more I'd like to talk about. Maybe we get you back if you're up for it. But
there is very little I like more than talking about insurance and the insurance profession and how we bottle that essence and get it in front of young people.
There's a huge amount of heart in the industry for the organisation you run.
Yes.
And I would like to speak about it more. It's been
I
very
find it fascinating. And also the work that, I mean, this is actually, yes, Volume 2 will be a good one because we could talk about the library, we can talk about the new premises you have and everything else and the support you give. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you've
just... Good idea.
You're going to be setting up an advisory group, so I hear.
Yeah, so we've had these communities for a little while now that represent different branches of the profession, broking, underwriting claims, and you know, I think historically they've been a little bit underloved, let's say. We've got some amazing, committed volunteers with decades of expertise between them. Yeah. And we've really overhauled the way that we plug them into the CII mothership. And we've just launched a new advisory group that brings those communities together and provides a sort of ready source of advice and insight into our policies and communications and strategies. And I'd love to come and talk a bit more about that, amongst many other things. What we're doing internationally. And
invitation is made.
Yeah, good. Right. Well, good. It's accepted.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time, Matthew.
A great pleasure.
Brilliant. And thank you everyone for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next time.